Today's episode is brought to you by copyandsend.com. You know, Gary Keller once told me that an agent's database is the most valuable spoke in their business, but most agents are doing nothing with their databases. And when I ask agents if they're mining their database with just email marketing, they 99% of the time say no. When I ask why, they almost always say, I'm not a writer, or I don't know what to say. So look, we knew we had to solve this problem. 8 months ago, we put our copywriters on this issue, and now they've produced a library of over 300 email templates. We've made this super easy. You find a piece of content or topic you like, copy it, and send it to your database. For only $12 a month, your copywriting problems are over. You'll never have an excuse not to mine your database. And regardless of the size of your list, your database, I guarantee over the course of the year, there are deals in there. Don't lose another deal because you weren't emailing your list. This is a very small investment that will yield tremendous results. Look, even if you only got one deal this year, that's a 600% return on investment. To make this, I want to make this a no-brainer for everybody out there. Sign up for Copy and Send. Try it out for 30 days. And if you are not 100% thrilled, we will refund you every penny. No questions asked. You can't afford not to do this. And if you are in the early stages of growing your list, go to the site copyandsend.com. We have an article showing you 25 ways to quickly and easily start building your list today. Copy and Send. Start mining your list today. Hey guys, you know, I'm often asked, what is the one thing that I can do today or this week to build my business? My answer is almost always the same. Find more leverage. And for some people, that's radio. But for others, it's hiring an admin, a transaction coordinator, or an ISA. I personally have an ISA, and every week I get at least 5 new appointments. That's 5 more times I get up to bat to close a deal. If hiring top talent is the solution for you, then let my friends over at WiseHire attract and qualify the people you need. WiseHire specializes in helping real estate agents like you hire the very best talent. Sign up today at wisehire.com/super. That's WIZE hire.com/super. Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Welcome to Super Agents Live. This is the one place where you can come and hear the most successful people in real estate. You'll hear how these super agents built their businesses, how they stay productive, and how they stay motivated. Who am I? My name's Toby Salgado, and I made my first million in real estate. And I'm your host for the next 30 minutes while we talk to yet another amazing real estate entrepreneur. Stay tuned.
Let's go! Yeah!
Hey everybody, what's up? How's it going? Appreciate you guys tuning in. Hey, look, I want to tell you that we have taken the last few weeks off in the middle of July to do a little focus on what we want to do here. And I want to tell you why. And it's important, I think, that I share with you why. And it's this. If you look at, right, I like to look at what Hollywood does. So if you look at HBO, right, they take their blockbuster shows, their series, off the air. If you look at HBO right now, so Bill Maher off the air for July, John Oliver off the air for July. And here's the reason. The reason is this. July is the toughest month to get your message, my message, our message, out into the marketplace. Because there's tons of noise. We are competing for that finite slice of thing called attention from our prospects. And everybody's getting bombarded with blockbuster movies, car dealerships trying to get rid of their cars in last Q3, Q4. Getting ready for the new year. So we decided to take a couple weeks off. So that's that. If you at all want to hear my opinion on anything, I will tell you this. I really suggest that whatever money you're spending on marketing / advertising in July, I would say pull it back by 30%. Pull it back. And I would even think about doing the same thing the first few weeks of August. And I would pull it back by 30% and save it for October, November, when two things happen. One, you can buy that media cheaper in October than July, for sure. In fact, we never put anybody on the radio in July and August. It's crazy. The rates are double what we can buy them for in Q4. So pull it back, redeploy in Q4. It's a great time, less competition, and things are cheaper. All right, enough of my preaching. Sorry about that. One last quick thing. One, if you are not on my list, go to the website, superagentslive.com. Get on my list. I share stuff with my list that I don't share with anyone else, number one. And number two, I just want to tell you something that I'm doing in a couple days. So in a couple days, me, the 3 kids, and the wife, we're hopping on a plane. We do a road trip every year. And this year we are flying to Seattle, spending the day and night in Seattle. Then we're driving up to Vancouver, British Columbia, spending a day and night there. Then going to Kelowna and ending up in Banff for 4 days. And then driving straight down from Banff to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, then through the Wenatchee Mountains, Spokane, through the Wenatchee Mountains, back into Seattle. So here's why I tell you that. If you are anywhere on that route, send me an email. Let me know. I mean, I would love to pick your guys' brain on where we should eat, what we should do, all that sort of stuff. There's only so much you can learn from the internet. All right. Last thing, Twitter. You can hit me on Twitter. My handle is @SuperAgentsLive. All right, let's get to it. Today on the show, we always try to do something new. Now, here's the thing. Here's the deal, right? So 2 things as salespeople, right? 1, we need to get the appointment, go in and close it, right? That's always the final thing. Sign it, like give us a deal. But the second thing why today's guest is, I think, appropriate for you guys is what I see over and over again, and I honestly don't understand it, is the fact that super, super successful people with super successful businesses often turn into coaches. Now, today's guest, his tagline, he's the one-call closer, Kayvon. Kayvon, I don't even know if that's your full name. What is that?
Yeah, well, the name, it's a Persian name, Kayvon, and
okay.
That's the name I go with. The reason for that is my last name, there's about 12 letters in it, and it's quite difficult, so I kind of just stick with Kayvon.
Dang.
And that's how I want the world to know me. The media also knows me as the one-call closer.
So you're kind of like a rapper, like just Kayvon, like just.
Well, yeah, I got maybe a rapper, whatever it might be, but no, it's pretty easy. It's Kayvon, people know it.
Okay.
I want it to be a name that
cool.
Easy for people to remember.
Yeah, that's awesome. So listen, we always start with the only one question I ask everybody is, I want to get a sense. I want to get into what you're doing. I want to get into your background. But before we get there, I really need you to tell me a little bit about who you are and how you developed your skills. So tell me about who Kayvon is, and then we'll get into what you're doing today in 2017.
So who I am, I mean, I grew up with an array of, I started selling at the age of 13, but before that, I really started selling myself when I was in grade 1. Back in grade 1, I was identified and labeled with ADD, ADHD, LD, basically every letter in the book. At one point, I just asked for the PhD just to make myself feel better. But they had written me off, and I say they as in the school system, the parents, everybody. It was not an easy life to grow up in, especially being in a very small northern Ontario town, having a name like Kayvon and then having a label like ADD, ADHD. I had 2 targets on my back. So I feel like my sales started there. I was always trying to sell myself to the world, sell myself to the teachers to say, hey, just because I'm not like everybody else, I got something here. And it was quite painful. By the time I was 19, I was in, when they said I was never going to make it into university, my first week in university, the dean of the special resources told me that if I was smart, I would leave university and never even think about going to college, and I was only good for a factory job. And after about 20 years of hearing that, you start to believe it. And through that, there was, a lot of things that happened, but I never stopped selling. I was always just in the sales mode because I never believed I was, at that point, I never believed that I could do anything else but sell. I felt it was this innate in me, this nurture kind of thing in me. And that actually helped me grow. I did some real estate training. I was in mortgages.
Hold on. Okay, let's go back in time for a second, because I think you're right. I mean, I think at the end of the day, we're always selling, right? And there's a pretty good, well, yeah, I would say pretty good book, Daniel Pieman, To Sell is Human, right? We're always selling. We sell ourselves to our potential mate. We are constantly selling, and I think that too many people associate selling or think selling is a bad word, right? Because we think selling, right? We think like
negative connotation,
right? Like some greasy a used car sales guy trying to sell you a junk car for too much money. But let me go back to grade one. So you're always selling. You are a Persian guy. You have a Persian name. So I'm assuming you have dark skin. You're a Persian guy, right?
Well, actually, it's funny. I'm actually light-fared. I'm Northern Persian, so I'm very, very fair skin.
Okay.
Can even be passed off more of Italian. But being in a small community, so it was a very white community with a lot of Italians, and that was it. So, and they knew right away with a name like Kayvon, it wasn't Anthony or Tony or or Lucas or Ricardo, right? It was Kayvon. So they knew quickly that I was different. And then with that target again, as a grade one being ADD. I mean, I was a hyper kid for sure, but it was bad. It wasn't easy, but it made builds you tough skin, right?
Well, and that's how you win, right? That's how you survive. That's how you thrive, is having a tough. But especially in sales. But here's what I want to know, Kayvon, is you said from grade one you were selling. You were selling your teachers. Were you selling yourself to be accepted, or were you selling yourself to say I am extraordinary? Like, what exactly was the product?
We're going deep there, yeah. So I was selling myself at that time. I was selling myself just to be accepted, definitely not to be extraordinary. By the time I got into high school, I knew there was something bigger than me, so it wasn't about me being accepted. It was me more selling myself, saying more like, just wait. We just need to get through the next 4 years. And I knew I would never see these people, and I knew that I was going to, they're going to be the same people that tore me down and that said I was never going to make it are going to be my number one fans. And they already are, which is incredible. And it's only going to get bigger and better. And it's not an arrogant or a cocky thing. To me, it's more of a learning experience. I teach people this as a learning experience. They judge the same hand that feeds people. You know what I mean?
I don't. I actually, that line, I don't know what you mean. But help me understand this. So were you not a super pop? Look, I was whatever, not me. Like, I was a super popular kid. I didn't need to sell people, right? People wanted to sell themselves to me. But for you, and again, I'm truly interested in this. So those people in high school tore you down, and now they're your biggest fans. So let me just say yes or no to this. Did those people who are now your biggest fans, were they tearing you down in high school?
Yeah, they were definitely bullied. Like, I was being bullied, tear down. But it was a little different for me because I did have a solid core group of my closest friends that got me. So I'm not that kind of guy that you walk into a room and either the room is not going to like me or take to me, or they're going to love me. In high school, it was more people weren't taking me, and it was just intimidation, right? I mean, anyone that doesn't like you, they're seeing a direct reflection of something they don't like in themselves. That's it. Okay. And that's what it is, right? And for me, I am loud. Like, I am loud. I had an energy. Like, I can come in a room and people know I'm there. I have presence. Yeah. And for some people that don't have confidence, for some people that don't like different, it scares them. So they go to judgmental. They go to this, they go to the negative stuff.
Because it's comfortable.
And what happened for me was for me, I'll tell you this, the biggest bullies were the parents and the teachers.
Wow.
Those are the worst. Those ones were the worst. The looks that I would see on the parents and the teacher's face, they would literally tore a hole in my heart. Here I am as an ADD child, and all they needed to do was, Kayvon, go for a run, come back. No, what they do is they make me walk down the hallway again to my spot, to my special chair, right outside the teacher's office and the principal's office. And they don't think, they say the walls have ears. Well, I had ears. And I can hear the teachers making fun of me and talking about me and asking, what goes on at his house. My parents were like, my dad was a hard-working man working in a factory. My mother was like literally the walking Mother Teresa. They were trying to do whatever they could just to put food on the table. And I had two older sisters. They had their hands filled, and then I had a lot of energy. And then I hear these parents, these teachers, they're talking about me. Like, it's bad. I was telling you, it was bad.
Okay.
And as a child, no child should really go through that.
All right.
But now I don't look at that and I don't act like the victim, because that just made me who I am. That empowered me.
Well, hold on. Yeah, and it did. I don't want to cut you off because you're telling a fantastic story. So, but because this is the crux right here, right? People either crack or they like break out of the shell. So how did you, hearing all these people, these teachers, your educator, people that you should respect, and listen to, how did you either one, you break down and you walk out of that room or out of that chair with your chin down, looking at the ground, saying or you walk out like Rocky, right, with your head high, going, I'm going to fight. How?
So let me tell you this,
okay.
This, because my ego, I don't know where I got it, but my ego has always been one of the not the greatest things for me in some cases. And in that case, I would say it worked for me because my ego was too big to show weakness. So I would walk out like I was Rocky, but I'd be walking out internally like I was a beat-up kid. So I walked around and I put a strong front up, and people thought I was confident, but deep inside I was hurting. I was sad. I was needing acceptance. I was not like it. It was a really hard, and it eventually put me into a deep dive depression. But again, we can talk about what happened in that. But anything that happened for me in life, as shitty as it got or as horrible as it got, I always just knew that there was something so much bigger and greater. So I never let that light completely go out. It might have just been a dimmer for a very long time, or like a pilot light, but I never let it go out, if that makes sense, ever, no matter how hard or how. And I don't think I could have, because like I said, it's so much bigger than I am. And that, to me, was what powered me to just keep moving forward. But it sucked. It wasn't easy.
Hold on.
Yeah, okay.
Hold on, because I honestly want to know your story and what I.
No, it's fine. I love it.
Okay, and what I hate people doing, and I'm not saying you were doing it, so and you're strong enough to let this roll through your back, but I hate when people come on and tell a canned story. So so. You said something interesting, right? So you walk out, right, and you were broken inside, but you were acting like Rocky. And I think when it comes to selling, right, as salespeople, we need to act a certain way. I think we need to project a certain something, to give other people confidence, to make them feel comfortable that they're making a right decision. So so is this accurate, Kayvon? Did you become an actor early?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Acting all my life. And we know this, though. We know this in selling, right? The best actor or actress who understands the psychology of sales becomes a master salesperson, a master closer.
That's right. That's why I'm so good, Kayvon. All right. So, here's what the two things you said I don't quite understand. I want to know. So, twice or maybe even three times you said there's something bigger than me or something bigger. Like what does that mean? What are you referring to? So
let's just roll then. Okay, I'm not going around that question. It's part of the story.
That's fine.
So I'm going to use that part of the story. So we dug in what was like my growing up, my childhood, and that never really left. Even when I got into the working corporate world, and I was the #1 pharmaceutical sales rep in the country, the largest company, I still was not accepted because I was different. The reps were, I was the youngest rep by about 20, 25 years, and everyone did not like the young blood. Even the CEO, the only person that had my back was my manager, and that was a reason why I stayed at the company for so long, because we had a great connection. But it was in that moment. So here I am, I'm 30 years old. I'm supposed to be living this dream of mine that people said that was never going to happen. I was supposed to be, working in a factory making $50,000 a year, if that, if I was lucky, slaving 12-hour days, right? Now I'm working for one of the largest pharmaceutical companies. I'm working 1 day a week. My customers are loving me, but yet I still wasn't accepted. And I was trying to prove to everybody, all the people that said I couldn't do it, I was trying to prove to my parents that just wanted me to have that perfect, we came to this country perfect lifestyle, that didn't even understand that there's a whole other lifestyle out there that was way better than what they try to set me up for. And I had enough. I had a moment where I literally, something like that fire that I said that always lived in me, that was bigger than me, it just came over me. And it was literally in a second where I just said, I am done. I am done trying to make everybody happy. I am done living this life that, sure, that provides me money and a great lifestyle, but it was not fulfilling. I'm finally going to go after what I want. I want to brand myself. I want the world to know who Kayvon is, and I want to impact the world in every which way I possibly can make. I want to go back and make sure there is not one child that is sitting in a classroom, whether it's kindergarten or high school, is I have to go through what I had to go through. Because I know in every classroom there is that one Kayvon. I truly believe there is that one ADD, ADHD kid who isn't a bad kid. He's just not made, or she's just not made for the freaking school system. And she's an entrepreneur, or she's a risk taker, or she's a pioneer, or he, or whatever it is. There's one of those child in every room, and I want to make sure I touch them and let them know that it's okay, that you're different, because the world needs you, and give them what I wasn't given.
Okay. Well, that's a whole different story, man. Like you're talking about messing with the education system, that's a whole, I don't even understand how that fits into your story. Honestly, I know that hurts you, or that you feel that internally, but I don't understand. And I don't even know that I want to go down that road. But here's what I do want to ask, right? So everybody gets to a point in their life with something, right? I'm done, right? I mean, this is the alcoholics, drug addicts get like this. They get, I'm tired of being tired, or some line like that.
Yeah, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Right,
yeah.
right. That's the line. Okay.
Yeah.
So
I know the line. Yeah.
So you've been. If I'm paraphrasing the story, right, you've been shut down your whole life, you've been minimized your whole life, and now you are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Did you turn that into anger, or what did you? How did that crucible mold you? How was that the tipping point for you?
Oh, the tipping point. What was it? It wasn't anger. It wasn't, because I knew that if I was going to go, I mean it. If I knew that if I was going to go build what I'm building right now, you can't build it out of anger. It's just it's a scarce kind of mindset. So I gave myself the permission. So here's what I did. Here's what it was I literally gave myself the permission to walk through the door that I've been wanting to walk through all my life. I finally said, I'm going to go open it and walk through it. And what I needed to do in that moment was stop caring about what other people thought. Stop worrying about what people thought, and just go after and follow what was burning inside of me. Now, what was that? I don't actually really know what that was, but I just knew that there was something bigger and better on that other side. And I was scared to go there because it was awareness level. My awareness level was low, but I knew there was something there. And what I had to do, though, if I was really going to go do it and make it successful, I had to give myself the permission to walk away from my friends, from my family, from where I was living. I had to move, so I actually moved from Ontario to BC, British Columbia. I'm not sure where, if people don't know where that is, in Canada. Yeah. I actually moved basically across the country. I called my parents, and I told my mother, who I love, who has been my number one fan. She was the number one supporter all my life. And I actually told her that I wouldn't be calling home, that I need my time. And I can't have her calling me and telling me that she's worried about me. I'm already worried about myself. I don't need you telling me, Mom, that I made a bad decision by leaving work. When I mean I made a decision, I left work. I quit. I quit a $200,000 paying job, working 1 day a week with a car, with the whole company benefits. You know how it is to be a sales guy. I was going golfing,
expense accounts. Yeah, absolutely.
Expense accounts. I was living. I tell you this. If you want to be that guy that makes $200,000 a year for the rest of your life, has 2 or 3 vacations, and has a pretty easy lifestyle, and wants to wake up and go see your kids recitals and all that. I mean, that's probably one of the best jobs you can have. But I wanted.
But you'll never get rich. You'll never be rich.
You'll never be rich. Oh, you just said it. Thank you so much. You'll never. And I knew that. I saw that. I was 30 years old, and I was like, this is not how I'm going to wake up when I'm 40. And if I stay in this situation, I'm going to be 40, and I'm going to be miserable. So, and I'm a kind of guy that, like, I do it all in, all or nothing. Like, there's none of this, they books say, hey, start a side business and then start it up and then wait until it, makes the amount of what you're doing. Then, no, I just left.
Good.
I jumped in and I made every mistake an entrepreneur can make, just trying to figure out who I was, because I was trying to identify who I was in the world while I was learning. And it was an amazing roller coaster, about a year and a half of a roller coaster. Here I was, $150,000, $200,000 cash positive. A year later, I'm literally $160,000 negative. I had credit cards literally credit cards with 2 credit cards maxed out, 2 huge lines of credit maxed out. I had sold my house. I was at a point in my business where I was starting to sell like my possessions, like on Kijiji, like anything that I needed to sell to just keep this thing going, because I knew, and this is the huge big thing, is I wasn't willing to ever give up. If I had to sell everything and move back into my parents' house at 35 years old, I was going to do that. I literally had made that comment to myself before I started. I said, if we're going to do this, Kayvon, we're going to go for it. There's no half-ass in it. There's no settling. You are going for it. And for me, it was a hard year and a bit. Like, really was but now I look back, I go, it only took me a year. Most people take 5-10 years to do it.
Or more. Or never get there. Right, or never get there.
Never get there.
All right.
But the problem, not the problem. The good thing for me was it didn't take me a year. It took me 20 years. It took me 20 years to develop the skills of selling. It took me 20 years to develop everything I needed to know. It only took me a year to really understand what entrepreneurship was and how to put myself in the market. So I already had the tools. I already had what it took. I just needed to now refine them and really get in touch with who I am and what the market needed from me. Because what I wanted to do was completely different than what I'm doing right now. Completely different. But what I'm doing right now, the market took it within a day.
And I want to know that. We wanted to get to that. And it took us 21 minutes to figure out your story to work, like taking it now, like 35 years old. But I just want to refine something you said, right? So for you, Kayvon, it took you 20 years to get to this point. But I would say for the audience, right, there's this magic number of 10,000 hours. And maybe, here's what I'd say to you, Kayvon. If I was coaching you, I'd say, maybe if you worked more than one day, and you it wouldn't have taken 10 years or 20 years, because really it's that 10 to get to mastery, it's 10,000 hours. So so maybe
we know that. We know all the books say 10,000 hours, and that's just basically saying, like, you've put your time in, you've listened, you've learned, you've asked questions, you now went from knowledge to wisdom, and that's how you become a master. So I want to say one thing is when I was saying working one day a week, I was working one day a week at one point in my job because I had worked 100 hours a week to get to there.
Okay.
So when I first got into my territory, it was a dying territory. It was actually, the territory itself was at 8% market share. Within 3 years, I brought it to 32% market share.
The domination.
But my first 2 years, I worked my ass off day in, day out. But by the time I got to year 3, now guess what? You know this. You want to sell anything? Build relationships. Selling is about relationships.
Okay.
And especially if you're doing long-term sales cycles, if you're doing higher-end, what I offer, higher-end ticket offer stuff, $15,000, $20,000 packages, that's a relationship. Nobody's buying that because they like the way you look or the way you dress or because you have a really good sales pitch.
Yeah, that's rapport. That's garbage. That worked in the 70s. It doesn't work in 2017. So let's get to what you're known for, the one call closer. Mm-hmm. So we've developed now, right? You have this super strong mindset. You know what you want. You're going after it, right? You've developed for the last 3 decades these acting skills. How do we become? And maybe I started this too early. We're 23 minutes, but how do we become a one-call closer like you are, Kayvon?
Well, yeah, I think there's quite a bit that involves in being the one-call closer.
Tell me what we skipped.
So let's start with the very first thing, which we've been talking about: selling. Now, there's a very huge distinctive between selling and closing. The world is filled with salespeople. It's littered with bodies of people who know how to sell, but very few know how to close. In fact, let me just say this. There are millions of people out there who had ideas, they had dreams, they had phenomenal things that they just gave up on. Why? Because they couldn't get to the close. They couldn't get the market to buy. They couldn't get someone to believe in their concept. And what happens? The concept, the idea, the dream dies, thus the person dies, gives up on themselves until someday someone else walks by and has that same idea, that same concept, except they can close it to the market. They can get it into the marketplace and get that idea accepted. Now, let me ask you this. Who gets the credit? The dreamer or the closer? The closer.
Well, hold on. Okay, I'm gonna
time.
listen. I really, Kayvon. I've enjoyed your story so far, and I want to hear what you have to say about this. But I'm just gonna push back on you in a second because.
Okay. I love it. You're good. I mean, this is why we have this call.
Okay,
I love it.
That's
Let's do it.
So here's the deal. I do close. I close $100,000. I used to close $1 million deals. I'm just in a different industry now, but I would do it in one meeting, and I commonly will close $100,000 contracts in one meeting without a relationship. But I don't close. I tell people what I can do for them. I tell them why I'm special. I tell them what I know, and literally I have a 30-minute pitch. Well, I have a 12-minute pitch and a 30-minute pitch, and at the end of either one of those, and I gauge who I'm talking to, whether you get a 12 or a 30-minute deal, seminar, and at the end, I ask one question. I go, "Do you have any other questions that I can address?" And 85% of the time. And I'm just making that up. Maybe it's 84, maybe it's 92. This is the question they ask. What is the next step? And I go, I send you an agreement. You sign it.
Yeah,
and
so
you
you just, there we go, though. You got to the close. You said, I'm going to send you an agreement.
No, but they ask me. They close themselves.
You did the selling in the beginning, but then you did the close. Most salespeople, they don't even ask for the agreement. People are scared to even ask for the credit card or ask for the signature. And that's where I said the difference between selling and closing. And I just kind of was setting it up like people who are selling and very few are closing. The closer gets the credit. Well, I'll also tell you how to get to the close. We got to go through what we call is a critical exchange point. And that's where there's now a transfer of some value of some service, where I'm giving you something of exchange, of value of exchange, and you give me what. So I'm either giving you my service, you're giving me the money, or vice versa.
Right, but
until you get to that moment, you're just selling. It's all sales. It's all sell. The close is getting the deal done, is moving on, saying, okay, getting that signature. Very few people know how to do that.
Right,
and even ask for that.
100%. But I don't. Let me go back to the story. I don't ask them for that. They ask me for that. They close themselves.
Yes,
and
I love that.
And this is.
I love that.
Do you know Oren Klaff?
I don't know Oren Klaff.
Oh man, I need to look at my Oren Klaff. I'm in San Diego. He's in San Diego. He wrote Pitch Anything. And
all right,
and so he's an investment banker, and he pitches big deals. He pitches $100 million deals, and he believes like I believe. Like I tell you what I can do. I give you my big idea. I tell you how I can make that happen, and then I walk away. I go, what now? And they come back and go, I want in. So I'm just saying, for me, I don't believe in closing. I won't say, okay, and the next step, Kayvon, is here's the agreement, you sign it. I let you ask me for the agreement. So,
well, you never asked me about that. See, that's we were talking about having a bad word on sales. Well, you're putting a bad word on close. I never act like a salesperson. My methodology, and what makes me the one called closer, is what I don't do is every common mistake salespeople make, and that is that again, my sales are all over the phone, and that is acting like a typical salesperson, being excited, asking for the sale, way too early or way too late, never actually listening. And high ticket selling, you're 80% listening and 20% talking. The less you talk, the more you sell.
Good.
I don't sell features. I don't sell benefits. and you're talking about you get your clients to, or your prospects to want, and my entire methodology is getting the prospect to tell me why they need my product, why they need the expert I'm working with, why they think it's going to work for them.
Love it.
It's a whole different game. I do not sell products and features. We're talking about psychology or sales psychology. Getting people to get out of their own way so we can offer them something that's going to help them and benefit them in their life. And that's what I do. And I want to make this very, very clear before we even go any farther from here. I do not work with anybody unless they have a proven track record, they're an expert in their field, and their product actually changes people's lives. If it doesn't, if they're not in that category, I will not work with you, because what I do, it can be very scary, and I can get a lot of people to make some bad decisions, and that is not what I do, and that is not what the one call closer is about
Okay,
at all.
perfect. So, but let's go back because I don't sell features or benefits either, but most people do. Most people sell features and benefits, and here's the problem. Whether you're on I hate to bring up car lots, but a car lot, a living room, and we're all competing against a ton of other people out there, and everybody's selling features and benefits. So you don't sell features, benefits. I don't either. Explain to us, Kayvon, what do you sell? Do you sell dreams? What do you sell?
Mm-hmm. So what I sell is here. Oh, how can I explain it? I love this stuff. You're getting me going, and I love this. Is I basically sell them the opportunity to change their lives in a way that they never thought were possible. Let me explain this, though, okay? So there are 3 levels of pain that a typical prospect has. If someone gets on the call with me, the way my whole process is set up is people are getting on a call with me. I do not call them. I'll tell you this. When you call someone, you're a salesperson. When they call you, you become an expert. They book a call with me, and they call me. They're calling me because they got pain. They have some sort of pain, and there's 3 levels of pain. There's
wait, dude. Sorry, not to throw you off track again. And again, I do want to hear this, but I just want to say I do the same thing. I don't call anybody. When someone reaches out to me, what I do is I send them a link to my calendar, and I go, "Hey, book a time on my calendar," and then I will call them. But I make them come to me. So it's playing it's like dating, right? It's playing hard to get. So how do you again? I want to hear your story, but it is important. How do you get people to call you or initiate that interaction?
So my whole space where I live on is the online. I help online experts, coaches, consultants, thought leader experts close their high ticket offers. So we go through sales funnels, webinars, whatever it might be. These customers, this isn't the first time that they don't just get our link to our application book call. They got to go through a huge sales funnel. They're either going through a series of emails, they're going through a webinar, they're going through the process, what I call it that sales funnel, to a point. Now we're giving them an opportunity to book a strategy session with us or to book an application call with us. And then we get them on the phone. I even have another person between that who gets on the phone with them before to really qualify them. Because even through the application, people lie. They say they got money when they don't have money. They say they're doing things when they're not actually doing things. And again, my time is very valuable, and I do not waste my time with people who are dabbling, who are thinking about it, who are fence sitting. That's not what we do. That's not how we help people. So I have my gatekeeper that speaks to them for about 10 to 15 minutes before and accepts them to have a call with me and gets them prepared to know that they're going to be calling me. They better be there on time. I only allow 1 call for 1 person. I don't chase people. It's not good for them, and it's not good for me, and I don't play that game. Just like you said, I make it very, very hard for them to get to me. So when they get to me, there's a respect. I respect them, and they respect me. And It's not a sale.
Right.
I don't sell them. I ask them questions, guiding them in a way for them to get the answer they want, which is yes. And I get them to overcome all their objections before we even get anywhere near the end of the call, which is the close, to get them to moving on to the next stage.
Well,
because if you're handling objections, you're only selling. You haven't done your job in the sale. to be the best salesperson or say the best closer, 80% of it is all about the pre-sale.
Yes.
80% of the sell process is the pre-sale. How are you positioning it before they even get to you?
Yeah.
And I have a methodology we use. I have a system we use, and it's different for each person I work with. There's not one fits all kind of method, but I have my structure that has worked, that has closed. Right now, over the phone, we're closing $20,000 tickets, the $30,000 4-day event. A 4-day event for $30,000 we're closing in one call.
Well, no. So, and again, the way that your process is much like mine. Once they get to you, they are already sold. They already want to buy before they get on the phone with you, because you're a treat. Like, you're this thing. You're the wizard behind the curtain. And finally, they got to you, and they're like, "Oh, Kayvon, right? I want to buy. I'm sold." So, can you 80%? You just said this, Kayvon. 80% of the process happens before they get on the phone with you. Can you explain that process a little bit? And I know it's different for every industry and every different kind of product / service, but can you give us a framework of how other people can implement this process?
Mm-hmm. There's two different types of marketing, right? There's I forget the name right now, but there's like in your face marketing where everything just pops up. Those are like the Facebook ads. Those are cold calling, right? And then there's information marketing. So this is where now the customer goes online and is looking for something. And whatever they're looking for, you now pop up. And they go, "Oh, this is interesting." And they come to your website. And your website is positioned in a way to make you look like an authority figure, to make you look like an expert with value. We call it a PMP, your personal media of a platform. So this is where where anything like these podcasts, you come to my personal media platform, your podcast is going to be on there. You're going to see my YouTube channel with all my videos showing you value after value after value. You come to my website, and it's going to show you who exactly and precisely who I am looking for, who do I want to work with, and who you have to be to even work with me. Mm-hmm. Very clear, okay? So one of those is going to get the customer interested. Then we click them either to, sometimes people do a webinar, some people do a master class, some people just send them to a landing page with a very good copy, and all of it is driving to what we call the application call. Through that, you have your video. We know email marketing. You're using email marketing, one of the most powerful tools, if you know how to do it right with the right copy. Email marketing gets them to the application call. Once they get on that application call, they book the call. That's when they're really with us, and we take them through the journey for them to make a decision. That's the layman's term of what we do, basically the ABC steps.
Well, that's all.
It's all. There's a lot more to it though, and this is where it takes a lot. Again, wisdom over knowledge. It's one thing to know how to do it. It's another thing to understand the why you're doing each process, what you're saying in each email or on each page. Why? If you can understand the why and how to connect that properly, then it becomes very, very powerful. And that's why I only work now with experts who understand that. Because my job isn't to help them and teach them about how to run a webinar. If they don't already have a lead generating system, I'm not working with them. My job, and that's why I said lead generating systems, webinars, all that, copy, that's all sales. That's a selling process. That's a pre-sale. I don't do that anymore. I used to do that. That's not what I do. I just close now. I get the contract. I get the payment over the phone. And it's not because we're trying to it's not used car salespeople where we're selling them a shit car for overpriced value. No. We're selling them a product or more of a service that literally is going to change their life. That is going to take them from where they are to where they want to be. And we are just a roadmap. We're just an avenue for them to get there. And to get on that roadmap, you do have to pay. Because anything, there's nothing free in life. You know that. No great thing comes free in life.
Right. And it shouldn't, right? I mean, anything that is... No. Well, hold on. Anything that is free, we as human beings devalue it. If it's free, it's got no value. If it costs $1 million, it must be great. And I won't even... There's so many examples that I want to get into. But Kayvon, so there is what you outlined. And it's my job. I'm going to push back on you. It's my job to try to unpack everything you're saying. So, number one, right? You explained a funnel, right? You have a platform. You drive them to a webinar or a page, and then with the right kind of copy, right? And then an app call, and or utilize email marketing. The problem is you can understand. We as business people can understand. I can give you a map with a sales funnel, but there's two problems here, and I want to know how you get your clients over these two problems. So number one, they can understand the funnel, but number two, I can understand it as some person understand the funnel, but then I get to the copy, and people are like, oh, I'm not a copywriter. What do I do? So that's one thing. How do you?
Well, we have a team. I have a team. I'm not I'll tell you right now. I am not a copywriter. I have a team that writes the copy for me. So when people hire, if I work on different, I either work on the phone, or you're going to hire me to come in and train your salespeople, or you're going to hire me and take over your entire sales division. Well, it's one of the three. If I'm coming in, so I'm right now, and I'm under an NDA, so I can't say the name, but I'm right now working with one of the number one copywriters and internet marketers. And this week,
who is it? I'm a giant copywriter. I know Brian Kurtz. I know Dean Jackson. Maybe you can tell me off the call. But okay, all right.
I'll tell you. I'm sorry. I will tell you off the call, and I'm sorry to all the people listening. That's okay. Not a fair thing to do, but it's business. It's business, right? I can't do that. You know what I mean? I think
totally fine. I'm not going to push on that. But
and I'll tell you who that is. But I'm also in the works right now this week, and I'm 99% sure it's going to happen. Something's going to happen either way. But if it goes the way I want, I'm going to be working with a real estate tycoon. And when we were talking,
I think I know who
they wanted me to come in and close over the phone. That's it. And
I know.
Well, why?
I think I know who you're talking about. But we'll leave that for a second. But here's the real thing. This is what I started to go down. We can understand the map, the sales funnel, number one. Number two, we can understand we need help with developing a page with the right copy. But the real thing, here's the real thing, man, that you have and that I have that I think most people need to develop is I only work with certain kinds of people. You said that a bunch of times. Yeah. But what that takes is mindset. That takes an abundance mindset. An abundance mindset to say, hey, your credit card, not interested in. You're not the right kind of person, but I will take your credit card. So
you're speaking my language, right? You're speaking my language. Like, I love it. And the reality is this, and I'm sorry to cut you off here.
That's fine.
Here's the thing. I had to learn very quickly when I went into my entrepreneurship. And I am sorry when I say this. I tell people I don't try to say it rudely, but it's just fact. 80% of the population are average people. And if you're hanging out with average people, you're going to be average. So if you're a coach, you're a consultant, you're a real estate agent, whatever you are, your customers are a reflection of who you are inside. Anything that's happening on the outside is a direct reflection of what's happening on the inside. And I knew, through mentoring, I had developed the mindset. I saw what it was to work with the 10%, the 20%, whatever that is. For me, I don't, 80-20. I like the 90-10. I work with the 10% of the people. Why? Because I like to help winners win more. Trying to get an average person to become a winner, it is challenging. It is tough. They got excuses. They got paradigms. They got everything. I know people who make excuses for their excuses. And I don't want to work with those people. Those are not people I work with. I'm sorry, I don't work with you. And it's not me being rude. It's because I held myself to a value, to a level where I know where I can start really making massive change. And I want to work with experts who are making change because they understand the value of an investment. They understand the conversation at a higher level. And you're going to ask, how do you get there? Very simple. Pick up a book, get mentoring, stop hanging out with average people, stop going to average places, stop doing average things. If you want to be a millionaire, go hang out with millionaires. If you want to make $10 million, you can't be hanging out with people who are making $1 million. It doesn't work. And that's what I said way back in my story. I had to give myself the permission to walk away from my friends, from my family, because I knew I was never going to go after what I wanted and even be able to achieve what I wanted if I was hanging out with them. And it's not because they're bad people. It's not because I don't love them. In fact, I love my family. But I knew that I wanted to give my family what they didn't ever even knew was possible. And there was no way I was going to be able to do that if I was hanging out on their side of the door.
Well, you
now
can't.
You got me going.
Well, no,
Yeah.
you've been going this whole time. No, but you can't, man. You can't. If you want to make $1 million a year or have a $10 million net worth, and again, no offense here, but your dad, a very hardworking man, the guy worked in a factory.
He had nothing to teach me. Zero.
Done.
He had zero.
Over. Got to
he
get
stopped
out.
Teaching me
Right.
when I was in grade 6. Honestly.
Yeah, I hear you.
He honestly, my mom stopped. My mom even said by the time I was about 15, she even said to me, because we had a very close relationship, she's like, I have nothing for you anymore. And I knew at a very young age, I knew that if I was going to get there, I needed to get mentorship. I needed people to hang around with successful people. So I did. And then I grew up in a
How did you do that? Real quick, because we got to start wrapping up. How did you do that?
Yeah, well, what do you mean, how did I do it? I just hung out. Like, I would go and hang out and and surround myself around these better places. Like, for instance, when I was younger, I was living in Ontario and I was skiing. I was going to the private clubs. I shouldn't be at the private clubs. I'm not spending $50,000 a year on there, but I was working there.
Right.
And when I was working there, I wasn't drinking and partying and acting a fool. I was having a conversation with these really, really rich people. And I'd ask them, I would ask them higher level questions. And I'd try to understand how they got to where they got to, trying to figure out who it was. I found mentorship through that. Mentor helped me, showed me how to be a better person, just how to think better, how not to be emotional. People don't like emotional people, up or down. It's volatile. People like stability, especially in business. You can't be emotional. I'm a very emotional person.
So am I.
You can tell. I'm just full oozing of emotion.
Dude,
when it comes to business,
I'm older now,
I
man.
can't.
Yeah. I will.
What?
I will. I was just gonna say I'm older. I will watch Days of Thunder and cry. You know, I mean,
yeah.
I
I
honestly
love Days of Thunder. Yeah. I mean,
but hold on. I just
know
want to
in business, you got to put your business hat on.
That's
Top
right.
Hat, right.
Right. And I want to make one point to everybody listening. I'm in a group. I'm in a few different groups, and I commonly hang out with hedge fund managers. I hang out with people who are worth $100 million all the time. They're in my phone. I call them all the time, and sometimes those $100 million people call me for advice. And so I think you have to. There's a price of admission, and that
there is. Oh yeah, mastermind. I'm in a mastermind. I pay $3,000 right now a month for this mastermind. A month. $3,000 a month. Now that's not a lot. I know people pay $1 million a year for mentorship. I know there's marketing masterminds that are $25,000 for the year.
Yeah,
for
Peter
4 events.
Diamandis. Yeah.
We know this. Napoleon Hill, he discovered this in Think Grow Rich. This isn't foo-foo. This isn't stuff like, yeah, whatever. No, the most successful, the ultra-rich, the special people, the ones that we all look up to, they mastermind. They get together and they discuss high-ticket ideas. They discuss high-ticket whatever it is. Like they get together and mastermind. So let me just say this. If you're sitting there right now, you're driving, you're sitting on that couch watching TV going, yeah, whatever. I'm telling you, if you want to get your ass off that couch, if you want to get yourself in a better car, go find a mastermind group. Go find yourself a mentor. Start hanging out with people that you want to be like, not people that are like you. Stop being average and go become someone special. And when you do that, life becomes powerful. You just said it earlier. Life doesn't go from scarcity. It goes from abundance.
Right. So
it doesn't go from fear. It goes to excellence.
That's right. But the deal is this. Here's what I would say, and I'm not selling. I don't have this group. I've been thinking about doing something like this. But the deal, and you said it earlier, when you think, and now I feel like I'm selling, right? But when you join a mastermind like this, too many or get coaching, too many people see that coaching bill or cost or mastermind bill or cost as an expense, and what they need is that's an investment. You need to see that as an investment. It's like college or better than college. All right, so I made my point. Listen, I always ask. You mentioned a book. Here's the setup, and I know you're not necessarily a real estate guy, but here's the setup. I'm an aspiring agent. I have $25. What book should I go buy right now?
hands down, The Ultimate Sales Machine by Chet Holmes.
Chet Holmes, baby.
Chet Holmes, it's called The Ultimate Sales Machine.
Mm-hmm.
Hands down, if you listen to every chapter and implement just 3 ideas in there, your real estate business will double. I promise you that. But you gotta, what's the number one thing? You gotta do the work.
Yeah.
There's no point in reading the book if you're not going to implement.
And that book is so special because he not only covers selling, he covers recruiting. There's scripts.
Everything. He gives you scripts. Like this book, honestly, that book has made me thousands and thousands of dollars.
You should have said hundreds or a million, dude. Thousands is
well.
Who gives a care about thousands? What do you do with $1,000? Come on, seriously.
Well, listen, honestly, the book I read the book 2 months ago. Okay.
Oh, really?
So I haven't made. I'm not going to lie and say I make hundreds.
Hold on. How old are you?
I'm 32.
You're young. All right. You're young.
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah.
All right. Hey, so one last question. We got to wrap up.
Yeah.
You are a guy, lots of energy, smart guy. Do you have a daily habit or a ritual that you think has contributed to your success?
Yeah, I'll tell you this, and it's not. I'm not going to be straight. I'm not going to be one of those guys that say this is what I do every day.
Yeah.
Here's what I know when I do it. When I'm waking up at 6 a.m. every day, even 5 better, and I work out, I meditate, and I write my goals, and everything's done before 7 a.m. That day, if you're a betting person, you better bet on me because I will be successful. And I try very hard to be diligent. That is it. I wake up 5 a.m., I do my exercise, I do my meditation or whatever that is, my mindfulness, just centering and getting grounded for the day, and I put out what I want for that day. When I do that consistently, I cannot tell you the results are ridiculous. They are ridiculous, and when I find I'm having a bad week, the first thing I ask myself, have I been waking up? Have I been doing those 3 things? And chances are I have not been if the week is not successful.
A guy like you, Kayvon, two things. Let me make a comment and then I'm going to ask you a question. You're an interesting character, and so what you just said was Hal Elrod's Morning Miracle in many, many ways. And I'm not sure if you know Hal or have read the book. But, I think it would be interesting, and I've never done this. I've never had a panel, but a guy like Ross Jeffries or Oren Klaff, I'm not sure that Oren would get on a call with you, but I think Ross would, or Hal would. Number one, I think it would be interesting to get you on a panel and get 3 of us that are all pushing from similar viewpoints, but slightly different angles.
Yeah.
I think that would be interesting. But for a guy like you, man, a hard life, right? You turned it around, ADD. Everybody said you were going to be, living in the streets. I'm making that up. But do you find how helpful in your morning routine do you find to start with gratitude? To say thank you.
Oh, huge.
Okay.
Like, gratitude's huge. And I'll tell you something right now. And I'm a straight shooter. I'm still fighting and having I'm on 80-90% with the gratitude. There's days I wake up and I have a hard time being grateful, and those are the days I'm not successful. Gratitude, you know this. Any successful person knows this. Whether they say it or not, it's fact. Because I'll tell you this, when you have gratitude, you can't have fear. Fear and gratitude do not live in the same house. And the reality is you have 2 options. You can have fear take you and control you, which is probably going to give you the results you don't want, or you can have gratitude, which is going to propel you. So instead of being pushed by fear, you can finally become pulled by gratitude. 100%.
There you go, man. That's the best. It took me 53 minutes to get to your magic line. Fear and gratitude don't live in the same house. Hey, we got to go. Listen, for people who want to find out more about who you are and what you do, where can they go?
Easy. Kayvon.com. Kayvon.com. You can get me all of my social links, everything there. And when you go there, watch what I talked about. Watch the copy. Look at what I've done on that website. You will see what I do. Understand the why. It's all about the why, not the what, the how. Kayvon.com. Kayvon.com.
There you go. And man, see, you just opened it up talking about why. All right, buddy.